When everything feels confusing and heavy, God still has a direction for you. Don't scroll, listen to this, because something powerful is happening right now, and if you're hearing these words, it's not an accident, it's alignment. This message is for you, the one who's been pretending to be strong while silently wondering what to do next, the one who smiles on the outside but feels completely lost on the inside. Your heart needs this right now. There's a reason you've been feeling restless, a reason your spirit hasn't been able to settle, a reason you've been asking God late at night, "Show me the way." You didn't come this far to be abandoned. You didn't survive everything you survived just to be left without direction. Hear this clearly. Confusion is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that something bigger is forming. You are standing in a sacred in-between moment, a divine pause, where heaven is rearranging things on your behalf. The uncertainty you're feeling isn't punishment, it's preparation. And even though it feels uncomfortable, even though it feels lonely, even though it feels like you're walking without a map, you are not walking alone. God has been closer than you realize, watching every tear you didn't let fall, hearing every prayer you whispered when no one else was listening. If you've been seeing repeating numbers like 1111, 222, or 444, if songs keep playing at the exact right moment, if memories suddenly resurface for no reason, those are signs. The universe has been trying to get your attention because your next chapter is calling. You've been asking for strength, but what God is giving you is clarity. You've been asking for direction, but what you're receiving is discernment. And right now, in this exact moment, something in your spirit is waking up. You may not fully understand it yet, but deep down, you can feel it. This season is different. The old way of living, the old patterns, the old version of you that kept settling for less, that kept choosing comfort over calling, that kept doubting their worth, it cannot follow you where you're going. That's why things feel shaky. That's why decisions feel heavy. That's why your heart feels stretched. You're being upgraded. And upgrades always come with pressure. Listen closely. This is not the time to panic. This is the time to pray. God is saying, "Trust me even when you don't understand me." The path ahead may not be fully visible yet, but the next step is. You don't need the whole plan. You just need obedience for today. Strength is rising inside you, even if you don't feel it yet. Courage is forming in the quiet places of your soul. And direction, real, undeniable direction, is being released at the perfect time. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. Everything you've been through has been shaping you for what's coming next. Even the heartbreak had a purpose. Even the delay had a reason. Even the closed doors were protection. And here's something you need to hear. Your future self is already thanking you for not giving up in this moment. The choices you're struggling with right now are shaping the life you prayed for years ago. This is sacred ground. This is a destiny moment. And if your heart is racing as you hear this, if your eyes are filling with tears, that's confirmation. Heaven is speaking. Stay here. Don't rush. Don't doubt. Because what God is about to reveal next will change the way you see everything. Listen to this carefully. Don't scroll away now, because what you're feeling in your chest at this very moment is not anxiety, it's recognition. Something inside you knows this message is real. You've been asking for a sign, not something dramatic, not lightning from the sky, just something gentle but undeniable that tells you you're not making a mistake by holding on. And here it is. This is that confirmation. You've been doubting yourself lately, questioning your choices, wondering if you waited too long, trusted too much, or gave your heart where it wasn't protected. But hear this clearly, God never wastes pain. Every moment you thought you were lost, you were actually being redirected. The delays weren't denials. They were divine timing adjusting to protect you from paths that looked right but would have broken you later. That's why things didn't work out the way you planned. That's why people walked away without explanation. That's why the door you prayed for stayed closed even when you knocked with faith. Heaven saw what you couldn't. And now you're standing at the edge of something new, something unfamiliar, something that requires you to trust without guarantees. That's where strength is born. You've been feeling emotionally exhausted because your soul has been shedding old layers. Old fears, old attachments, old versions of love that were never aligned with your destiny. This season is about discernment. God is sharpening your inner voice. That quiet feeling you keep getting, the one that tells you to pause, to wait, to not respond, to not rush, that's wisdom being activated. You're learning the difference between loneliness and solitude, between desire and assignment, between attraction and alignment. And here's what you need to know right now: the universe is responding to the work you've been doing internally. Even on days when you felt unproductive, even when you felt like nothing was changing, spiritual momentum was building. You didn't see it because it was happening beneath the surface. Roots grow in the dark. If you've been seeing angel numbers repeatedly, especially during moments of doubt, that's reassurance. It's heaven saying, stay steady. You're on the right path. And there's something else unfolding. Your heart has been healing in ways you don't fully recognize yet. You're no longer begging for clarity. You're becoming calm enough to receive it. You're no longer chasing validation. You're learning self-respect. That's preparation for what's coming next. Because the next chapter of your life doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to alignment. And yes, this includes love. There is a soul connection tied to your obedience in this season. A person who won't require you to shrink, explain your worth, or prove your loyalty. But timing matters. God is not just preparing you for them, He's preparing them for you. That's why patience feels so heavy right now. That's why your heart keeps revisiting the past, not to return to it, but to release it completely. You're closing emotional doors that were left half open. And as you do, your spiritual sensitivity is increasing. You may feel emotions more deeply lately. You may cry without knowing why. You may feel moments of sudden peace followed by moments of questioning. That's normal when transformation is happening. You are crossing from survival into purpose, from confusion into clarity, from asking, why me, into understanding, use me. This is not the season to rush decisions out of fear. This is the season to listen, to pray before reacting, to trust the stillness. Because God is about to speak in a way that leaves no doubt. A conversation, an opportunity, a realization. Something is going to click, and when it does, you'll understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. You won't need external confirmation anymore because the peace will be internal. And that peace will guide your next move. Stay present. Stay faithful. Stay open. Because the direction you've been begging for is no longer far away. It's forming right now, closer than you think, and your spirit already knows it. Stay with me. Don't scroll now, because this is where the message turns personal. And if you're still listening, it's because your spirit is leaning in. Something inside you already knows that the hardest part isn't not knowing what to do. It's trusting yourself after everything you've been through. You've been afraid of making the wrong move again, afraid of choosing wrong, loving wrong, believing wrong, because you remember how it felt the last time you trusted with your whole heart. But hear this gently and clearly. God is not asking you to relive your past mistakes. He's inviting you to move forward with wisdom you didn't have before. This season is not a repeat, it's a redemption. The reason you feel more cautious now isn't because you're broken. it's because you're maturing. Your discernment is sharper. Your boundaries are stronger. Your spirit is no longer desperate, it's discerning. And that's why certain things that once excited you now leave you feeling uneasy. That's why certain conversations don't hit the same. That's why your soul pulls back even when your emotions want to lean in. You're being guided, even when it feels uncomfortable. Even when it feels lonely. Even when it feels like you're outgrowing people and places that once felt like home. Growth always creates distance before it creates alignment. And right now, God is separating you from what would delay you. Not to punish you, but to protect your future. You've been praying for direction, but direction often comes through subtraction before addition. What's leaving your life isn't loss, it's release. You are being freed from cycles that kept you emotionally drained, spiritually distracted, and mentally confused. And as this clearing happens, your intuition is getting louder. That inner voice you tried to ignore for years. The one that told you when something felt off, when someone wasn't aligned, when a situation wasn't safe for your spirit, it's no longer whispering. It's speaking boldly now. And that's intentional. God is teaching you how to hear Him without chaos, how to choose peace over pressure, how to move without rushing. Because where you're going requires stability, not survival instincts. It requires confidence, not fear-based decisions. And let's talk about love, because it's been heavy on your heart. You've been wondering if you missed your chance, if you waited too long, if you let the right person go, or if the right person even exists for you. Listen carefully. Love hasn't passed you by. It's being aligned. The universe does not bring soul connections into chaos. It brings them into clarity. And that's why this season has been quiet. That's why distractions have been removed. That's why you've been spending more time alone, reflecting, healing, questioning. You are being prepared to recognize real love when it arrives. Not the kind that excites your wounds, but the kind that calms your nervous system. The kind that doesn't confuse you, chase you, or test your worth. And yes, this connection is real. It is tied to your obedience, your patience, and your willingness to let go of what looked good but wasn't God. If you've been dreaming vividly, remembering faces from the past, or feeling a sudden emotional pull without knowing why, that's your subconscious clearing space. You are closing karmic loops. You are finishing lessons. And as that happens, your spiritual awareness is expanding. You may feel moments where time feels different, where silence feels louder than noise, where being alone feels safer than being misunderstood. That's not isolation. That's initiation. You are stepping into a higher level of awareness where you no longer need to chase answers. They come to you. And here's the truth that might make your heart race a little. Your next decision matters more than you realize. Not because it will make or break your life, but because it will confirm that you finally trust yourself. God is watching how you move in this season. Not to judge you, but to see if you're ready to handle what you asked for. Blessings require stewardship. Love requires maturity. Purpose requires courage. And you're closer than you think. The fear you feel isn't a warning, it's the edge of expansion. Every time you've leveled up. Before, fear tried to stop you. But you survived every chapter you thought you wouldn't. And this one will be no different. Pay attention to what brings you peace now. Pay attention to what drains you. Pay attention to what your body feels around certain people and environments. God speaks through peace. And very soon, sooner than you expect, you're going to have a moment where everything becomes quiet inside, where the overthinking stops, where the confusion lifts just enough for you to say, "This is it. This is the way." And when that moment comes, don't second guess it. Don't ask 10 people for advice. Don't let fear talk you out of alignment. That clarity will be your answer. And when you look back, you'll realize this season, the waiting, the uncertainty, the emotional stretching, was the moment you became ready. Don't pull away now, stay present, because this is where the message deepens. And if you're still listening, it's because something inside you is ready to receive what you once weren't. There has been a quiet battle happening within you, one that no one else sees, where faith and fear have been having constant conversations, where hope rises one moment and doubt tries to pull it back the next. And that doesn't mean you're weak, it means you care. You've been trying to do the right thing, to choose wisely, to not repeat old cycles, and yet the pressure of responsibility has made every decision feel heavier than it should. But hear this with your whole heart: God does not burden the unprepared. If you're feeling the weight of discernment, it's because you are trusted with it. This season is not about speed, it's about precision. You're being taught how to pause before reacting, how to listen before responding, how to feel before deciding. And yes, it's uncomfortable, because your old self survived by rushing, by fixing, by forcing outcomes to feel safe. But the new you is learning how to wait without anxiety, how to trust without control, how to believe without proof. That's growth. That's maturity. That's spiritual authority forming quietly inside you. You've probably noticed that certain distractions no longer satisfy you. Conversations feel shallow, environments feel noisy, and even success defined by others doesn't excite you the way it used to. That's because your soul is recalibrating. You're being pulled toward meaning instead of validation, alignment instead of attention, peace instead of performance. And this shift didn't happen overnight. It's been building through every disappointment that forced you to sit with yourself, every unanswered prayer that made you question but not quit, every moment you felt unseen yet kept believing anyway. Those moments were not wasted. They trained your spirit to recognize truth when it arrives quietly, without drama. And let's be honest, part of what you've been struggling with is surrender. Not because you don't love God, not because you lack faith, but because you've been the one holding everything together for so long that letting go feels like risk. You learned early how to be strong, how to adapt, how to keep moving even when you were tired. But now God is asking you to trust Him with outcomes, not just intentions. To stop carrying tomorrow's worries today. To release the need to understand every detail before moving forward. This is where peace replaces control. This is where faith becomes active, not just emotional. And as you learn this, something powerful is happening in the unseen. Your spiritual senses are sharpening. You may notice that your tolerance for dishonesty has dropped, that you can sense energy before words, that you feel pulled away from situations that once felt familiar. That's discernment activating at a higher level. You are no longer meant to blend in with chaos. You're meant to bring clarity into rooms you enter. And because of that, the universe is repositioning you. People who cannot meet you at this level will naturally fall away. It won't always be dramatic. It may be silent, gradual, even confusing, but trust it. Not everyone is meant to follow you into your next season. Some people were assigned to the lesson, not the destination. And yes, that includes relationships you thought would last longer. It includes expectations you held on to because they felt safe. Letting go doesn't mean you failed. It means you honored your growth. And here's the part your heart needs to hear most right now. Nothing that is truly meant for you will require you to abandon yourself to keep it. Not love, not purpose, not success. If it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. God is teaching you how to choose what aligns with your soul, not just what satisfies your emotions. And that lesson is critical, because what's coming next will ask you to show up fully, not guarded, not fearful, not half-healed, but grounded. You are being prepared to receive something that will feel unfamiliar because it will feel safe. You may question it at first because it won't trigger anxiety or adrenaline the way old patterns did. But safety is not boredom, it's stability. And stability is where real blessings grow. You're learning how to rest without guilt, how to trust without checking, how to believe without chasing signs every 5 minutes. And still, God is kind. He sends reassurance anyway. Through numbers you keep noticing, through words that resonate too deeply to be coincidence, through moments where peace washes over you for no logical reason. Those are reminders. And soon, very soon, you're going to realize that the strength you prayed for has already been built into you. The direction you asked for has been forming through every choice to pause instead of react, to pray instead of panic, to listen instead of force. You are not waiting on God. God has been preparing you. And when the moment comes to move, you'll move without fear because you'll recognize the peace that comes with alignment. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay faithful. Because the clarity you've been asking for isn't going to shout. It's going to feel like calm certainty. And when that calm arrives, you'll know you're ready for what's next. Stay here with me just a little longer. Because this is the moment where everything you've been feeling begins to settle into understanding. And if you're still listening, it's because your soul recognizes that this isn't just motivation, it's confirmation. You've been wondering when things will finally make sense, when the pressure will ease, when the path will stop feeling so heavy. And what you didn't realize is that clarity doesn't always arrive as a sudden answer. Sometimes it arrives as peace replacing panic. Right now, something inside you is calming down. The urgency to figure everything out all at once is loosening its grip, and that's not weakness, that's trust taking root. God has been watching how you handled the waiting, how you chose faith even when your emotions were tired, how you resisted the urge to run back to what was familiar just because it felt safe. And because of that, you are stepping into a moment of quiet reward. Not loud, not flashy, but real. You're about to notice that decisions don't feel as confusing anymore. That your reactions are slower, wiser. That your heart no longer jumps at every distraction. That's alignment. You didn't lose your fire, you refined it. And now, the direction you've been praying for is no longer outside of you. It's rising from within. God has been teaching you how to recognize His voice through peace, not pressure. Through assurance, not anxiety. And very soon, you'll be placed in a situation where you'll need to choose without fear, and you will. You'll surprise yourself with how calm you feel, how certain you are, how little explanation you need from others. That's when you'll realize the season of confusion is ending. This doesn't mean challenges disappear. It means you are no longer intimidated by them. You've outgrown survival mode. You've learned how to breathe through uncertainty. And that skill alone has changed your future. Now let's talk about what your heart has been quietly holding on to. Love, connection, belonging. You've wondered if real love exists for you, if someone can meet you at this level of depth, if you'll ever be chosen without having to prove your worth. Listen carefully. The love meant for you will feel like recognition, not performance. It will meet you in clarity, not chaos. And that's why this preparation was necessary. You are no longer drawn to intensity without intention. You're no longer impressed by words without consistency. You're no longer available for confusion disguised as passion. That shift is protection. And yes, someone aligned with this new version of you exists. But more importantly, you are now aligned with yourself. That's the real miracle. Because when you choose yourself with honesty, everything else follows naturally. The universe responds to clarity. God honors alignment. And right now, you are standing at the edge of a new chapter. Not because everything around you has changed, but because you have. The strength you asked for has been woven into your character. The direction you prayed for has been revealed through discernment. The peace you long for is becoming your default. And here's the truth that seals this entire message. Nothing you've been through was wasted. Not the waiting. Not the heartbreak. Not the silence. Not the nights you cried and still got up the next day. All of it built the version of you that can now handle what's coming. And what's coming will not overwhelm you, it will match you. So as you move forward from this moment, move gently but confidently. You don't need to rush. You don't need to explain your process. You don't need to prove your faith to anyone. God knows your heart. The universe is responding. And clarity will continue to unfold step by step. If this message touched you, let it land. Take a breath. Say amen quietly or in the comments as a declaration that you're ready to trust again. Share this with someone whose heart needs reassurance today. And stay connected, because the next message may speak directly to the prayer you haven't even found the words for yet. If this prayer spoke to your heart, type amen in the comments. Share it with someone who needs strength today. And don't forget to subscribe for more prayers.